morning and a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you are with us on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're tuned into the show, we appreciate you being here where sports meets life, all inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill out on Sweet Road in Pompey for you in the rolling hills of central and upstate New York. It looks like The Sound of Music, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring my mom out there for Mother's Day. Also because the food is incredible, and Dan Palladino, the owner of Heritage Hill, he not only was there on Mother's Day, he was the one serving you on Mother's Day. When you got to the end and somebody was cutting up the meat for you and slicing it right there and putting it on your plate, that is the owner. And those are the types of people that we work with here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and through Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. The owners that get involved with their businesses, get their hands dirty, and put in the work alongside their employees. So shout out to Dan for an amazing Mother's Day and the entire team, Victoria, everybody out there in Pompey, and also Heritage Hill North that you'll find in North Syracuse, 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York, their newest location, and an awesome place to be. I've been there many times. I was there for the soft opening. The grand opening was the day that we announced our partnership, so that was amazing to be at the ribbon cutting. And then I was there this past weekend bringing some friends that had never been to Heritage Hill North, but are frequent goers to Heritage Hill Brewhouse out in Pompey. So make sure that you head over to their locations this week and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. Or you could say DT sent me. That's a very easy thing to do. You have to remember 2 letters, DT, Dan Tortora. So appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out where sports meets life. We have an awesome show set up here for you today inside of monpauspopcorn.com's What's Poppin', bringing you our guests of the day. Dave Paziak joining me first, talking about the NBA world. He is a longtime basketball coach, has had many successes, and more than anything else, more than the wins that he's had on the court, he has inspired lives, and he has definitely helped out some really amazing people that I've had the opportunity to come into contact with. So Mr. Paziak, longtime basketball coach and analyst, is going to be joining us today to speak on the NBA playoffs as well as the upcoming NBA draft and answer maybe some of my questions about how ridiculously difficult it is to get drafted. Then we're going to jump in at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to another piece of our Bearcat Time in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. I am honored and privileged to have Allie Lemereau to be on the broadcast here with us today, and she's going to be joining us from the Binghamton University Bearcats softball team. And so Allie will be with us at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for another edition of the Bearcat Break Room. And we'll round out the show on Tuesday, as we always do, with the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicoli. So with that being said, we have our first guest here with us for hour number 1, Mr. Paziak, speaking on the NBA playoffs and the upcoming NBA draft. A wonderful conversation we always have with a person that, like I said, goes well beyond the win-loss column and has been true to just being a good person and very, very much there in my life, there in my corner from the moment I came back to Syracuse, my hometown, to right now. Dave has always made time for me, and our conversations on the air are great. The ones off the air are great, and I really respect them. So with that being said, let's bring the man back here. Mr. Paziak, how are we doing today?
Doing great, Dan. It's been a minute. Great to talk to you again.
Yeah, no, it's been some time here, but happy to have you back here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. So I know you got graduation coming up on campus, so bring me into that and the preparations of that for you. You know, how involved are you in that world? I mean, I know you're the SID out there, and you're also, you know, the men's basketball head coach for the Linden Hornets. So what's life like in the graduation times for you, and how involved are you in it?
Well, all our this is a big year for us in that respect. We got 7 guys graduating, which is, we're really proud of those guys. That's I would say, a higher than normal number for a basketball team.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age where, with transfer portals and jumping around, and 4,200 basketball players, NCAA basketball players in the portal. So, guys don't stick around typically. So we're really happy with and proud of. We got 7 seniors, and they're all going to go out and do great things in the world. So, last night we had our athletic banquet for all sports, celebrated, the year and things that our student athletes did. I'm very heavily involved in that, and the preparation and compiling the award winners and those kinds of things. So now the rest of the week is, just hoping and getting our all of our students to the finish line in terms of finals and everything, and wishing them all well for the summer, the returning guys, and seeing off our graduating seniors, and we'll spend some time with them as the week goes, and then when Sunday rolls around, be there to help celebrate their accomplishment along with their families and the rest of the campus community and whatnot. So, exciting time. A little bit of a sad time because you see guys off and everything, but a lot more of a happy time than a sad time because significant milestone in their lives and significant accomplishment. So, proud of all 7 guys, and looking forward to them walking the stage on Sunday.
Yeah, and like you said, the world we live in today, having anyone graduate from a team, regardless of division, it's nice to see them graduate from a school and be a part of getting their education as we see this focus on playing and moving and getting NIL money and the transfer portal, just all these things that are now a part of it. Now, granted, the transfer portal can be used for good things, and obviously, there are those moments where you can see a lot of good in the transfer portal. NIL gives an opportunity for a student athlete to make money in a way that they don't, they didn't have before, number one, and the fact that there's such a small percentage that play professionally in any given sport. So there are positives that come from that. But on the educational side, we talk about student athlete and what it means to be a student first and then an athlete, and how important it is to remember that and to know that. What can you say to what Linden does in that respect to promote the student athlete and appreciate the student athlete, and to really try and showcase the word student in student athlete?
Yeah, well, I think if you just look back to last night in our athletic banquet, obviously we celebrate on the field, on the court accomplishment, but we also took really intentionally spent a lot of time celebrating that balance of student athletes, student coming first, and accomplishment in the classroom and on playing fields and whatnot. We recognized so far this year, and all the spring ones haven't come out yet. So far this year, we've had 11 student athletes at our institution, including 4 of our basketball players, named academic all district, which by far the most that the school has had, in the history of the award and whatnot. So I think there's really not that other schools aren't doing that, because I think at the Division III level, I think a lot of people are really doing a great job with that. But we really try to keep the focus on and remember that student comes before athlete, and we talk with basketball guys. No matter how good you are as a player, every career ends in men's league sooner or later, right? And so what you're going to do with your with your degree and prepare you for the next 40 years of your life. You can't lose sight of that, and got to really maintain focus on that. And with our program, grades haven't come out yet for the spring, but through last fall, we've had several semesters in a row where we had team GPA over 3.0, which before we came up here in 2017, that never happened. We were 3.3 as a team in the fall. So that's something that I think philosophically, it should be there at all levels of athletics. But I think at Division III athletics, really, the focus is and needs to be on student before athlete.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And seeing that focus and that importance, it's a great thing, like you said, in that honors banquet to showcase that and to discuss that and to talk about that and to really, let the student athletes appreciate it and see it for what it is, to give them that honor and remind them, hey, like this is what you're here for, and you're here to get an education, you're here to look after the rest of your life. And yes, it's great to play sports and it's great to have the opportunity to do something like that, but ultimately, you want to make sure that you're taking care of the future as well and taking care of where you're going to go from here, so I think that, that's a beautiful thing to talk about that side of it and to showcase that and to have the success that you had and to be able to honor 7 of your student athletes from the men's basketball program coming up here very soon, with graduation being this coming weekend for Linden for these Hornets. So here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Dave Paziak, jumping into the athlete side of things and into I want to go to the NBA draft first, and then we'll swing back around here. Taking a look at the NBA draft, we know that on Mother's Day, the selection was made here of the first 4 picks. The draft is going to be held on June 26th and 27th. The first round will be at the Barclays Center, which I know all too well, in Brooklyn, New York, home of the Brooklyn Nets, on Wednesday. The second round will take place at ESPN's Seaport District Studios in New York on Thursday, June 27th. So we're going to see, typically, historically, we saw the draft all in one night. And now we're going to see the first round on Wednesday, June 26th, the second round on a Thursday, June 27th, and it's going to be in 2 different places, as I mentioned. Atlanta has the number 1 pick, followed by Washington, Houston from Brooklyn, and then San Antonio. The rest of the lottery here, which is the first 14 picks, is as follows. Detroit at 5, followed by Charlotte, Portland, San Antonio from Toronto. Yay, so happy we gave up another pick. Memphis, Utah, Chicago, Oklahoma City from Houston, Sacramento, and Portland from Golden State via Boston and Memphis. My Toronto Raptors will not pick until 19th, which is a pick from the Indiana Pacers, and that's where we're at. The New York Knicks are going to have 2 picks back-to-back, 24 and 25, one of them coming from Dallas, that being the 24th overall pick. The last pick is going to go to Boston as we're looking at this right now. Now, the draft order assumes that a team with the right to swap 1 pick for another exercises such right. So taking a look at that, there was some notes here on one of the picks that was there. So the second round, Toronto will start that off, and we'll see that going from there. So Toronto will actually start off the second round, and it'll bring us all the way through to the end. So, Dave, your take on this, your thoughts on this? Mother's Day, seeing that Atlanta, Washington, Houston, San Antonio are going to be the top 4 picks, and then we look at the rest of the lottery in inverse order on how teams finish. So, what's your take on how the draft looks up top?
First of all, the Pistons can't catch a break, man. Falling out of the top 4 a couple of times now, been the worst team in the league the last couple of years. But I think, on the one hand, this year's draft doesn't have the consensus, generational player like Wembanyama was a year ago. So I think there's a lot more intrigue as far as, and you could see a lot more pre-draft activity, because I think consensus is there isn't necessarily the 1 or 2 marquee guys at the top of the draft. So I think it's a more balanced draft in that respect. And you could see, I think there's a high probability that you'll see more maneuvering between now and the draft. It's interesting that the draft lottery was earlier than usual this year. That typically hasn't happened until during the conference finals. So they moved up the lottery a little bit. I think that creates a wider window for teams. And then you've got Atlanta getting the number 1 pick, who had a 3% chance, defied the odds And they're a team that's been there. There was already talk that they're going to reconstruct the team, and Trae Young and some other guys are potentially going to get moved in the off season and to try to reconstruct, rebuild the team. So it'd be interesting to see how getting the top pick might feed into that process. Or is there a guy out there that they think can be, the guy they build around, or could they potentially move the pick? Trade down to accumulate picks, or trade out of that spot for a bunch of parts. That hasn't happened a ton in the history of the NBA. But I think, basically it's a risk reward thing with the Hawks. Like, what do they see as being the most direct path to getting them out of NBA purgatory, where they're not good enough to compete with the top teams, but they haven't totally cratered either. So how do they take the next step? Do they need to blow it up and step back before they step first, or just lucking out by getting the top pick, does that allow them to either through the draft or through trading out of that pick, does that allow them to kind of make a move that will leap them forward into relevancy and contention and whatnot?
Yeah, and Dave, there's these thoughts that come on my mind when it comes to the NBA draft, and I'd love to get your take on it. I struggle with the fact that there's a first round and there's a second round and that's it, right? There's 60 picks and somewhere in that world, right? So when those 60 picks are done and only the first round is guaranteed money, if you're drafted in the second round, you're not guaranteed anything, right? So you want to be a lottery pick, you want to be in the top 14. If not in the top 14, you want to be 15 through 30. You want to get drafted, but there's so few opportunities. We talk about D1, D2, D3, JUCO, overseas, G League, and all these other leagues that if you don't go to college, you can go here. We're putting thousands of players, 3,000, 4,000 players, trying to put them into 60 spots with knowing that only 30 of them have any type of like money that we know, okay, hey, top 30 picks, you're good. Second round, we don't owe you anything. It just seems there's a lot of things I question. Like, can the second round be guaranteed money? Can all 60 picks be locked in so that the second round doesn't feel more like it's free? It feels like undrafted free agency at times. I know there's not a ton of spots on an NBA roster, but here are the issues I have. I have an issue with, if you're not in the first round, does the second round hold value? Yeah, you got drafted above other people, but how secure is the second round? My other thing is, with G League players and outside of the NCAA league players and overseas players, it just puts even more in the pool. And in my opinion, I feel like if you're in the G League, you shouldn't be drafted. I feel like if you're in the G League, you should be able to sign contracts, or maybe they have a separate G League draft or something like that. But you're already in the league in a way because you're in the developmental place. I'm just more of a proponent of maybe a G League draft, an international draft, not putting all this in, especially international players, when there's so few spots and so few pieces at guaranteed money. I struggle with giving that up to overseas players. Not that they're not talented, not that they're not good, but I almost feel like the NBA should have an NBA draft within the country and then an NBA draft internationally and work it out in some respect there. I just feel like there's so many things going into one draft that it just gets into a very, very kind of crazy pool, so to speak. And I just feel like the NBA draft needs to change some things.
Yeah, there's a lot to dive into there.
I know. I threw a lot in. It was all in my brain at the same time, Dave. So pick it apart like you want to. But
no, that's all right. That's all right. I think the one thing we'll start with, like, the whole notion of second round and everything. The second round in the NBA draft is a tricky proposition. I mean, there have been. I think Brunson's a good example. Brunson went in the second round, I believe, right? So there are examples, and the Spurs used to used to really make a living out of making good second round picks, and guys that panned out and became really, really good NBA players. But I think like painting with a really broad brush, it's such a crapshoot for the guys getting drafted. Depending on who takes you in the second round, I mean, you could go to a situation where you have no shot of making the roster because they already have 15 guaranteed contracts. Okay, and so if you're drafted in that situation, you're almost better off not getting drafted and signing as a free agent with wherever you think gives you the best opportunity to stick on the roster.
Yeah.
And I think like summer league has helped sift a lot of that out too. Like you'll see guys get released, second round guys get released after summer league now. So now get picked in the second round. What it does afford you is, you're going to get some type of look with that team. And if you get drafted by a team, where you have no chance of sticking, at least maybe you accumulate some film, accumulate some credibility, and it helps you sign with another NBA organization, get an overseas contract and whatnot. Especially for American college players. Like sometimes you'll see the foreign guys, NBA teams will draft and stash them in the second round, knowing that they're not going to come over for a couple of years. So, you will see a little bit of that. I think one of the things that, if you believe the forecast with this year's draft and kind of the pendulum has kind of swung back, there was a period of time where the NBA was really heavily, international players went high in the draft.
Yeah.
And then it kind of swung back around for a few years where, the top 5 to 10 picks were dominated by college players. Now it seems to be swinging back again in the other direction, where, I saw one projection where the top 3 guys were internationals, and then, then you got a G League Ignite guy, which is going to go away this year. But there's a G League Ignite guy that's projected in the top 5 to 10 also. So it seems like at the very top of the draft, the pendulum is swinging back. So and you can speculate. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think that the guys are staying in college a little bit because of the NIL money. G League Ignite's it's going away because now financially, guys, upper elite level players can make more money in college. And that's a whole other subject, things that were, just the landscape of college basketball and college athletics has changed so much. G League Ignite was set up as an avenue for guys who wanted to make some money and not go to college, prepare for the NBA draft. And, now guys can make substantially more money by staying in college. So, but I think where that impacts the draft, I think, the draft is, in the NBA and NFL, baseball, hockey, whatever, the draft is as much about potential as anything.
Yeah.
And, with guys staying in college a little bit more, I think that almost hurts their value at times in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
Versus the international guys who have been playing against pros and in a sense, they're not more proven to the American audience, but they're more proven to the basketball world. Because they've played internationally, probably at a little higher level than what guys have played against in college. So, so I think that's where it's kind of swinging back in the other direction. I think where that, when it swings to the international players, where I think it stings the NBA a little bit is more from a marketing standpoint. The international guys just because of the nature of the beast, they don't come in with quite the same name recognition as the college guys typically. I mean, Wembanyama was an exception because everybody knew he was going to be the top pick in the draft, so media paid attention to him during his last season overseas. But typically, the guys who were talked about at the top of the draft this year are unknowns by and large to the casual NBA fan. So versus the guys from Kentucky or UConn or something that are at the top of the draft that are more widely known on the American sporting landscape.
Yeah, and I appreciate you giving some thoughts here and some background about it. It's hard, Dave. It's really really difficult to make it. And yeah, I mean, I look at the NFL draft, and granted, the NFL roster, you're carrying 53 guys. You got a practice squad, so it's different. But you look at just the amount of opportunity. The NBA's opportunities are so slim that it just to me, I think that, I mean, there needs to be a place for international players. Obviously they're talented, and there should be an opportunity for whoever is talented to make it. At the same time, I feel like there's opportunity taken away here because of just the amount and the G League side of it thing and all of that. I mean, to me, if you're already there and you're playing in the elite and this and that, and you want to get drafted, I mean, to me, you're already kind of in. You already kind of have an opportunity, maybe a leg up. So when you see, and I think it's underwhelming. I think when people watch the draft and you see somebody selected and you see G League, I think people, the reaction to the average fan or maybe somebody who doesn't watch the NBA that much is, why are they getting drafted out of the G League? Aren't they already there? So, aren't they already in the league type of thing? So I think that it's tough. I mean, you could look at expanding rosters. I mean, for goodness sakes, guys, sit down long enough. I mean, you got to put somebody out there, but that's another story, and let's jump into that. But I mean, the NBA draft, it would be nice if the second round has more security. Like you said, you're at least going to get a look from the team that drafts you. But the second round, with only having 2 rounds, it's so small. And then when you look at the second round and the fact that nothing is guaranteed, it makes it feel almost meaningless outside of the fact that it's like, well, you're going to get a look, which is a great thing, but it still feels like free agency. And then you put in the international players. I think that's what makes it underwhelming, is when people watch the NBA draft, they're like, okay, who's going to get picked from Villanova, from UConn, from Kentucky, from USC, from Florida, from Michigan? And then they see France, Serbia, and then people kind of, get kind of out of it a little bit. The average fan is kind of like, okay, I don't know any of these players. I didn't watch any of these and any of these guys in the NCAA tournament. So I almost feel like we have to have that international draft of saying, like, let's have a specific draft dedicated because of those years where there's an influx. Sometimes it's one guy, sometimes it's 13. And I think that giving an equal opportunity to players in America, an equal opportunity to international players, and not having them fight for the spots from each other is something that maybe we can look to for the future for the NBA. I mean, do you see any quick fix to the NBA draft? Is there anything that you would like to see that we can make an adjustment of? Because I want to be clear that I want international players to have a pathway. I just think that it would be better served to have an international draft where the NBA really maybe they do the draft overseas. Maybe they pick a different place every time and they hold a draft, and Adam Silver's out there in Turkey and holding a draft out there and doing something special, and then really showing the NBA around the world, and then have the draft here in New York City or in Boston or wherever. I just feel like having 2 separate allows for both to be showcased. It allows the NBA to really make more money and create 2 events, and it doesn't take away from what's happening here. Because I think when people watch the NBA draft, the average fan is looking for someone from the NCAA tournament that wowed them to be in there. And when they see players they don't know, sometimes they shut it off. So is there a quick fix for you? Is there something that you would like to see happen?
Well, I think you got to... It depends what lens you're looking at it through. If you're looking at it through a fan lens, then I think, much of what you said is true. As far as a quote-unquote fix, to get more fan engagement. I think it's interesting the NBA kind of followed the NFL model and added an extra day to the draft this year.
Yeah.
The NFL draft, but at the same time, I think they're fully aware that day 2 in the second round is going to carry a fraction of the interest of the first round. So, so I think like the kind of things that you're talking about from a fan perspective makes sense. I guess I'm not sure they make sense from a business of basketball standpoint. From a business of basketball standpoint, the NBA team is looking for, you could be from Kentucky or France or the moon, an NBA team really doesn't care. They're going to draft a guy they think is going to help them, get to where they want to get to as a franchise. I don't think the name recognition or the marketability thing really plays any factor at all when it comes to whether a team drafts a guy or not. I think from a business of basketball, I think there's a couple of, the NBA has done a really good thing with, the first round picks being guaranteed and the salaries are slotted. So you don't see, the prolonged holdout ever in the NBA. This guy doesn't sign because, it's pretty much predetermined. You're picked fourth, your contract is worth this for 3 years, right? Yeah. So I think that's a thing that the league and the Players Association has bargained that has really been a positive for the NBA, because you'll see these guys get drafted and they're signing within a day or two, and then they're in summer league. And I think NBA has really marketed the summer league well as a vehicle of interest. And we'll see guys, first professional appearance will be in the NBA summer league, and they've moved it to Vegas, and it's become a destination event and everything. So, I think from a business of basketball standpoint, and I think where the summer league helps too is like with some of the foreign guys, if they get them under contract, that's their first introduction to the American basketball fan, like on American soil, and first time a lot of fans pay attention to them. So I do think the NBA has used the summer league as a marketing vehicle pretty well. In terms of the second round thing is a really tough, tough decision. And then if you split the draft into basically a domestic draft and an international draft, that I think that's a level of complexity that perhaps NBA teams would not be on board with, perhaps. Then what do you value more? As a first round pick internationally worth more than a first round pick in the States, or vice versa? I think it fundamentally changes the business or the way the NBA does its business, and I'm not sure that that the league would go down that path anytime soon.
Well, I look at it too. I look back in the Ricky Rubio days and all that. When you get a player overseas and you buy their rights, and then you don't have them for 2.5 years. So it's like you look at a pick and say it's a top 10 pick, it's a lottery pick, and the guy's not even there. So I think there's that side of it too to look at. I would just like to see something where there's more just avenue of operate. There's thousands of players in America, and there's 60 spots, and there's really 30 spots if you're looking to guarantee yourself some money. And then you bring in international players, which I think, again, is great. And we've seen some incredible players come in. But maybe that's, a shorter draft. Maybe it's a compensatory thing that the NBA does and say, we're going to award, these 14 teams a pick overseas to go and grab somebody. It's there. To me, there needs to be some way of balance here, because, and credit to the international players that there's imbalance at times because there's so many good players overseas. I just want to see them get to the NBA, and I want to see I want to see players in America get to the NBA and kind of duke it out there and see what they can do. So it's of a conundrum, and we work on it as we go. It creates good discussion. And Dave and I are going to take a step aside for a fast break. We got a little bit longer here with you in hour number 1, and we're going to get to the NBA playoffs right after this, where sports meets life, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, giving you an opportunity to find everything that you need. We talk about these sports all the time: soccer, hockey, basketball, baseball, football, as well as getting into the AEW, UFC, Worlds, and the All Sport packs as well. You can find yourself immersed in the world of sports cards as well as trading cards out there at GG Cards and Breaks. Make sure you find your way to GG Cards and Breaks today. They're open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 10 to 5 on Sundays, giving you the awesome opportunity to open a pack, open a box, or get one of their singles or one of their graded cards. And they got a ton of graded cards back from PSA. You want to come and check them out. The showcases have changed. They're constantly changing things around and doing different things there. So you go into GG Cards and Breaks today, and you go in a couple weeks from now, there's going to be something different on the shelf, something different somewhere inside of the display case. They're good at continuing to bring in new product, and they also cycle out product too. You know, they bring in new stuff when there's a lot of spaces from people that have bought different things. So head out to GG Cards and Breaks today. They also have Disney Lorcana and Pokemon while supplies last. And you can go see the incredible staff led by Josh and Anthony, Alex, Joel, and the entire team there with you at GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. What will you bring home today? With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, we're here with Dave Paziak this morning, and we are hanging out in this conversation about the world of basketball from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill Brew House out in Pompey, Heritage Hill North in North Syracuse, right at Sweetheart Corner. Dave and I jumping into the NBA playoffs here for a second. We have 3 series at the time of our conversation this morning. 3 series of the 4 that are left are tied at 2-2. The Celtics on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, this Wednesday, May 15th, could end it all against the Cavaliers. They're leading 3-1. But the Thunder and Mavericks are tied 2-2. They'll play Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. And playing tonight, we have 2 games. Tuesday tonight, May 14th, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Knicks and the Pacers, who are tied 2-2, will play, followed by at 10:30 p.m. approximately Eastern Time, we'll see the Nuggets and the Timberwolves face off against each other, also tied 2-2. So, Dave, my question to you is, will the Celtics lay the gavel down Wednesday night? And then of these tied series that are 2-2 for the other 3 series going on, which one do you think has the best opportunity to go to the wire?
Well, short answer, yeah, Celtics are closing it out. I think the same thing as last round. They have a little second game 2 hiccup, and they're just significantly better team. So that series I think is over. The other 3 series, I think this round of the playoffs is really compelling.
Yeah.
I think that all 3 of those series could go 7 games. My gut feeling is Denver maybe closes it in 6. As good as Minnesota looked the first 2 games, I think Denver is kind of shown why they're the defending champs. I think the other 2 series, great chance that those go 7. I think Dallas letting last night slip away really, I think that may come back to haunt them, because I think that series may go 7. And, game 7 in OKC would be tough. Knicks and Pacers in the first 3 games. Indiana could have won all 4 games of the series so far, just didn't make plays late. And, and we got a Nick whistle late in a couple of those first couple of games too. But they just, they took them to the woodshed last game. So it'd be interesting to see how the Knicks respond tonight. My gut feeling is that the Knicks will play well tonight, and I think the Knicks have to win tonight. If they go down 3-2 to the Pacers, I think the Pacers close it out at home. Again, I think Denver has kind of found their stride a little bit. So really intriguing second round, though. I think there's been fascinating aspects of all 4 series, which the first round, maybe the playoffs got off to a little bit of a slow start, with the first round. I think other than the Philly-Knicks series. Whereas I think this round, they've kind of made up for it. Conference finals should be interesting regardless of the matchups. I think Boston will be the prohibitive favorite regardless of who they play in the East. But, you could really see any of the 4 teams in the West coming out.
Yeah, and that, the excitement that's here. I mean, for you to see these final teams in these final series, Dave, I know you're a Sixers fan through and through, but to see these final 4 series that are going on, these last 8 teams, are we getting the best of the best in the NBA? Do you feel like what is left here in the NBA is going to create a great Final Four?
Yeah, and I've said this, we've talked about this before on the show. I think that the NBA playoffs and the road to crown an NBA champion is probably the most legitimate championship in sports from the standpoint of identifying the best team and crowning them as champion. A 7-game series, and the better team is going to emerge out of a 7-game series quite often. I think that, the magic of the NCAA tournament is that anybody can win on a given day, and a lot of the appeal of the tournament is the potential of the upset and whatnot. But it's kind of designed to trip up the best teams, which is why UConn should get a whole lot of credit for going back to back. But in the NBA, I think it crowns the best team champion, and I think the NBA playoffs don't have quite the randomness of hockey, or the 7-game series in hockey, and they also don't have, like, baseball becomes a fundamentally different game in the 7-game series than it is over the regular season, just because you manage your pitching differently and whatnot. So, so I really feel like that the NBA title is perhaps the most legitimate champion crowned in sports, if you're going to look at it from the standpoint of let's identify the best team and crown them champion.
Yeah, and get, like you said, these 7-game series, the excitement created by them. Final question, final note for you, Dave, as we get set to watch these series tonight. Once again, folks, you can watch these on TNT. I watch simply sometimes just to hear Charles Barkley say something insane. But when you're watching the games tonight and tomorrow, Dave, I know in the background here, you being a Philadelphia 76er fan, I know the Knicks beat them 4-2 in their series, but what's your take on Philadelphia? I've been in Philadelphia a couple times in these last few months doing a card show, a film out there with the people of Philly. What is your take on the state of the 76ers? And I ask you that after speaking with many people that were right from your neck of the wood feel when it came to fans. I was Sixer jerseys, Sixer hats. I was like, man, Mr. Pasiak be happy right now if he saw all this. So what's your thought on the future of the Sixers?
Big off season for the Sixers. They're gonna sign Maxey to a long-term contract. I mean, they got team options, so if he'll get a huge deal. And of course they got Embiid. I think everybody else is either expiring contract or fair game to be cut or traded or whatever. And they've got a boatload of cap space. So I think that you're going to see a very different Sixer team on the floor next year from the one that was on the floor at the end of this year, but still built around Embiid and Maxey. Trying to capitalize on that window of opportunity to win a championship during Embiid's prime. And obviously keeping him healthy is central to that. But I'm really it's a big off season for the Sixers, and they're going to make a bunch of moves, and hopefully they make the right ones and put the right pieces around those guys.
Yeah, we'll look to see what's going to happen here with the Philadelphia 76ers. Raptors got to put their work in. Dave said for a long time, purgatory that they were in. They can make the playoffs but not win anything. So we'll see what happens with his Sixers, my Raptors, as we step forward. And Dave, as always, I appreciate the time. We've had a lot of stuff on the show this morning, a lot of conversation that can open up the doors for other things. Had some stuff off the air, too, that can open up the door to future conversation. So looking forward to having you back on the show. Longtime basketball coach. You can find him out in Vermont, with the Linden Hornets. Have a fantastic graduation. God bless to your whole team and to your 7 graduating student athletes. And I look forward to talking with you soon, Dave.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you, Dan. Hey, before we sign off, I got to
Yes.
give a quick shout out. One of my former players, Mike Suthermosto, got hired yesterday as the new head coach at Corning Community College. So, great to see another one of my former guys get a college head coaching opportunity. So, shout out to him. But great to talk to you again, and definitely look forward to talking again about the playoffs soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that note, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon, Dave.
Okay, see you, Dan.
Take
Later.
care. That coming from Dave Paziak. We're going to take a quick step aside here for a fast break, and when we come back, we will be joined in an all-new Bearcat break room with Allie Lamoureux joining us here from the Binghamton Bearcats in our Bearcat break room special right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognize that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios and happy to be here with our exclusive studio partner, Heritage Hill. You can see them right behind me. Heritage Hill, Pompey, out the brew house on the rolling hills of Central and upstate New York on Sweet Road. And, of course, Heritage Hill North, right by the airport, Syracuse Hancock International Airport, and so many different towns and cities all throughout Syracuse area. You could find Heritage Hill North in North Syracuse on 628 South Main Street, right there at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse. So a lot of great stuff coming up here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, and of course in this Bearcat break room with Allie Lamoureux joining me here from Binghamton Bearcats softball, student athlete on the team, as we bring her in here picture in picture with us. Happy to have her here on the show for the first time ever. Allie, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, and first and foremost, congratulations on a season that's had a lot of awesome moments in the Bearcat softball world. So what's this season been like for you, and how fun has it been to go through some of these really cool moments?
I mean, this season was great. The team chemistry was amazing, which I think is such an important thing in having a successful season. And just to see that all play out has been incredible. and I think we had the third most wins in program history. And I think 1 and 2 might have been before we were D1. So this might have been either 1 or 2 for the top wins in D1 program history here. So it's been incredible, and it's been really fun this whole season.
And with this, like you said, this season being so much fun and so many positive things that have come from it, you were not only having a successful season as a team, but you had a very successful moment here in the America East. You were named the Player of the Year for the entire conference in the America East. Allie, just what that, if that's, if it kind of sat with you for a second, if it's marinated for a little bit and it's kind of hit you that you were honored as the Player of the Year for the entire conference.
Yeah, I still don't think it feels like quite real. I mean, it's nothing like too official, so it's like I don't know how to really explain it, but there's so much talent in our conference. Like even just on our team, there's so much talent and so to be recognized by the coaches on the other teams is something that means so much. And I honestly didn't even think I would be in the running for it. So to be chosen for it it's an awesome feeling.
For you, where were you when you found out when it was decided that you were going to be the Player of the Year for the America East for the entire conference? Bring us in to help us to be a fly on the wall. What were you doing? Who was with you when you found out this news?
Yeah, so we were leaving for the conference tournament on Tuesday morning at like 11, and there was like an optional hitting before it. So both our coaches was there, and I think there were 3 of us in the cages at the time, and we were just taking some reps off the machines. And Coach Bump was sitting behind me, and after I hit a ball, she was like, "That's the type of ball the Player of the Year hits." So that's how I found out. And I just kind of turned around. And I was like, "What?" But it was funny, and it was kind of a cute little moment between all of us. There were 2 of my teammates there, and everyone just kind of stopped what we were doing. And we just kind of all embracing like each other, and it was just an awesome moment before the conference to kind of see and reflect on everything that's happened this past season, and to kind of be like, wow, like we have like the potential to continue on. And then also Coach Bump with the Coach of the Year was awesome too, and she's so well deserving of that.
Yeah, and I was just going to jump into that. You win Player of the Year in the America East, coming from the Binghamton Bearcats and representing the Bearcats to the entire conference as the top player in the America East. And then here we are with Coach of the Year representing the Binghamton Bearcats, Jess Bump, who was on the show at the earlier part of this Bearcat season for softball. Just what it means to you to see your coach get Coach of the Year, and not only have Jess Bump get Coach of the Year, but the fact that you get to share this together. Not every time do we see a Coach of the Year and a Player of the Year on the same team. So what does Coach mean to you, number one? And number two, what's it like to share these honors together?
I mean, I just think that they, like Coach Bum, Michaela, and everyone that helps us out. We have a few people that come in and volunteer on their free time, which is amazing that they just sacrifice so much. So I think that the whole environment of our coaching staff, they make everything so much fun. And you can tell that they really want to be there. So when you can tell that they're doing their job, quote unquote, but they love it. They soak up every second of it, and they're really there for us, and they want to see us be better softball players, but more importantly, they care about us as people more so than players, which is something that you don't see a lot, especially at the Division I level. So I think that my team and I know that we're incredibly grateful, especially if we have some transfers that weren't fortunate enough to have coaching staffs like we have here. So I think a lot of people think that this is normal, but like hearing the other side of it about like coachings that aren't the best or don't treat their players with as much respect as we get here, I think that's just incredible. So that was so well deserved, and I can't express how much gratitude I have towards our staff here.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Jess Bump, your head coach, but having other coaches that are there, volunteers that just take out time from their busy schedules as well to just be a part of this program, a part of this ride. When you see that, when you see so many people with selfless acts, what does that kind of create in you, or what does that bring out in you when you see so many people giving back to this program and having people giving to this program that aren't, necessarily being paid to be there, that just want to help out, that want to volunteer, that want to do something to see the success of Binghamton Bearcats softball.
Yeah, it just shows that they have so much belief in us and belief in their program that they're willing to take time out of their day to make us better, like softball players, people. Two of the people were actually alumni at Bing. So we have Kate Richards, who graduated, I think, in 2013 or somewhere around then. And she, like, full-time engineering job, and she still comes to games, practices when she can, and coaches first base. Like, she's awesome. And then we have Sophie Pappas, who graduated last year. She comes all the practices she can, has a job, still in school a little bit, doing grad work, but she's just incredible. She'll come and throw BP to us because she was also a pitcher. So she hums it in there a little bit, but it helps us so much. It's like kind of seeing live at bats, like it during practice or right before a game. So I think it was so helpful to have them there. We also have Ed Watson, who volunteers his time. He's there just about all he can. He specializes with the catchers, but he's there for everyone. He also throws front toss, and he coached our head coach, Jess Bump, back in the day. So it's kind of cool to see a whole full circle moment, and everyone's kind of intertwined with the program or the people in the program. So it just shows how good the people are in this program, and how when people leave, they're wanting to see the success of the program when they come back and help out in any way that they can. So I think that was so cool to see that this year and see all the volunteers that we had on staff.
Allie Lamoureux here with us in this Bearcat break room in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, and Binghamton University softball having a very successful season and honoring getting to see the honoring of Allie Lamoureux as the Player of the Year in the America East, Jess Bump, the head coach, as we spoke about, as the Coach of the Year in the America East. But you also had teammates that were put on all of these teams here. The first team that you got on, Allie, also Brianna going with you, a sophomore pitcher, getting onto the first team in the America East. Lindsay as well as the designated player getting here, a redshirt junior designated player for Lindsay. And then second team, we're looking at Brianna Santos, as well as third baseman Shelby got onto this, freshman second baseman Maddie, and then your freshman catcher Elisa were the all rookie team members as well. So we're looking at a total of 5 selections to the all conference honors, 2 to the all rookie team. When we look across this roster and we see all of these names on first team, on second team, and then, getting to see the all-rookie team as well, just what it means to you to see your teammates honored throughout this program, and knowing that not only are you the Player of the Year, but you're sharing all conference honors, be it first team, second team, or all-rookie team. You're all getting to share as a team the fact that you've been honored and given a spotlight from the America East.
Everyone, it makes me so happy, and it makes all of our team so happy. I think that's one of the things that's awesome about our team, is that we are so excited for other people's success. Even if you don't have a good day, you don't have a good weekend, if someone else has a great weekend, everyone's excited. So I think that it was so awesome to see everyone get recognized, and it just goes to show how hard they work throughout the season. And it kind of the whole thing about paying off in the end, they can kind of look and reflect and be like, I did that. So I think they deserve that so much. And then on top of that, I also think it shows how much depth we had as a team. I mean, depending on who was pitching, what game we were playing, people were getting switched in and out of the lineup, moving around in the field. Different people were hitting, pinch hitters. I mean, you don't see that a lot, especially in our conference. Everyone kind of had a set lineup. So, I mean, no one really knew who was going to be where during what game. So I think that goes to show when you have that much depth on a team, it really works out.
Yeah, and for this year, like you said, the amount of wins that the team had and the amount of success that you've had, when we go back to that conversation of overall for Binghamton Bearcats softball this season, 33-18, 14-6 in the America East. And looking at how you took care of home field as well, going 14-4 at home, 13-5 on neutral ground. Another big note of this season. When you reflect on it and you look back on everything that this season has been for Binghamton Bearcats softball. What sticks out to you the most from a season that's, on paper looks extremely successful, looks like something awesome to build upon for next season, but what sticks out to you?
I think our team chemistry, since I've been a freshman, it's just been building and we've been getting closer and closer as a team. And I think translating that on the field is so incredibly important. So I think that's one of the biggest factors. I think this year we just really clicked and we kind of found that. Also, like I was saying, the depth. Like there were people that were moving around every position, and everyone was always ready to do their job, even if they didn't know what that job was going to be on that day. Pinch hit, pinch run, you're going to go in the field, you're going in these last 2 innings. Everyone was always ready, and they were always locked in when they were in. So I think that was the biggest thing, that and the chemistry. I think those two things really helped us this year, and I'm so excited to see what the people left continue to do next year, because I know it's going to be so amazing.
Has it hit you? I know you just said, you're looking forward to seeing what everyone that's left on the team is going to do, but I mean, this is senior year, right? So has that sunk in yet? Has it hit you that you are now looking to you're passing the torch? You're looking for this team to carry on from here. Does that sit with you at all? The fact that this is senior year?
I think yes. I don't think it's fully sank in yet, but I think it also helps that I start grad school the end of May, so I think that kind of helps. It's not like a normal summer. I'm kind of moving on and transitioning into the next part, but I think it won't be till I go to a game or see them practicing or something where I'm like, oh wow, like I'm not there. I think that's when it will really hit, but I'm kind of not fully there, but mostly I'm done. I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, and it's been such a recent feeling, right, that the season ended in the America East tournament up against UMass Lowell out in Maine, 2-1. That was May 10th. We're talking to each other this morning on May 14th. So it's only been just a few days. What have these last few days been like for you in reflection on your career? What sticks out about you personally, your career, your time at Binghamton as a member of this softball team, knowing that just 4 days ago you were on the field?
I mean, it's crazy to think about, like you're saying, like 4 days ago I was playing, I had 2 games on the 10th, and now it's like I got to pack up my locker room, I got to pack up my apartment. It's like kind of moving on, but I mean, I pick up my stuff from softball and the stuff they got me for senior day, which is a lot of softball related stuff, and it's great to see how much that me and the other seniors and the other people before me have changed this program since I've been here as a freshman. So I think that's the biggest thing that kind of sits with me, is looking back and seeing how much that we've been able to change and create the environment and the chemistry that we've been wanting to, and embracing our culture of a team since freshman year. We came in and we were kind of like, this isn't what we want it to be. And we tried to slowly transition into something that we all felt comfortable with and knew that would create a winning culture and a competition between us and the opposing teams.
You said when you came in, Ellie, that it wasn't what you wanted it to be, that as a team you wanted something else for Binghamton University softball. How did you make that transition? It's something that doesn't happen overnight. It's obviously takes a lot of time, but when you as a team said 4 years ago, we want different, we want better, how did you all start to put that together? What were the building blocks to create? Because this season didn't just happen this season, right? This is work that's put in years before. So when you came in and said, we want different, what did you do as a team to create those stepping stones to get to where you are today?
I think the biggest thing that we noticed our freshman year, that there was a lot of divisions between the players on our team, like as people. And I think it translated to how they were playing on the field. And I think a lot of us felt that. It also didn't help freshman year. It was so COVID year. it was kind of weird. We couldn't really hang out too much, but there was a lot of energy that just was off on the team, I think. And I know a lot of our freshmen noticed it. And it was our goal to kind of transition and make it. So I think just when the next people came in, the fall, like the upcoming freshmen, every year we tried to include them and make them feel like they were a part of a team. Because in the end of the day, these 20, 22 girls, however many people are on your roster, are your ride or dies for the next however long you guys are going to be together on and off the field. I mean, the girls that I've created like lifelong memories, lifelong friends, and it's just incredible to see that. So I think that was kind of our goal, and just to kind of create an environment that was safe and that we all wanted to be in.
Allie Lamoureux here in this Bearcat break room, coming to us, Binghamton Bearcats softball student athlete on the 2024 season and her career in general here in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. I want to go before Binghamton because you went to a school that means something to me. I love the Union Endicott, Maine Endwell back and forth, and just the spotlight we've seen on Maine Endwell historically. You went to Maine Endwell, and I've covered their athletics. I love sitting down with the student athletes. And while you were there, I'm going to read off some of these incredible feats that you achieved. Now, of course, I want to go here first and foremost, a member of the National Honor Society. Congratulations on that back in Maine Endwell time. You went 17-4 with a 1.77 ERA when you were a junior at Maine Endwell. Then we look at Section 4 All-Star 3 different times, a 2-time NYSSWA All-State selection, got first-team honors as a junior. And then this one, you helped with your teammates to get Maine Endwell to 3 New York State championships. 3. Absolutely insane. When you look back on your Maine Endwell days, and obviously you're not that far away going to Binghamton University. I mean, you stayed home here. What did your time at Maine Endwell mean to you, and what was it like for you to represent Maine Endwell at Binghamton University as a Division I athlete?
I mean, my time at Maine Endwell was nothing short of amazing. The people there on different teams, the people on your team, everyone just wanted to see everyone succeed, and I think that was really awesome. And it's good to see I still have younger siblings that are in the program. There's only one left now, but I had 2 that went through. So it's always good to keep in touch and see like how the tradition has passed down. Everyone like rooting for everyone at different sporting events, and it's just awesome. And I think that created my love for sports in the first place. So I think that translated into college here at Binghamton. And then I really didn't actually want to go this close to home originally. I told my dad, I was like, I'm not going on this visit. But he was like, just go and fill it out. And I stepped on campus with the coaches, and I really didn't feel like I was 15 minutes away from home, which I think was my biggest selling point. I felt like I was in a completely different world, and I think that's the reason I did end up coming here, was that I felt safe, and it was like I knew that I would have a good time here with these coaches, with the players, with everything that I saw. I liked it. The facilities are amazing. And it was nice knowing that I always had the option to go home if I needed something. But I wasn't home very much, but it was the perfect balance of everything that I needed.
You know, I find it funny because I think we all have things in our lives at some point where we say, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to go here, and then it ends up being one of the best decisions of your life. You said to your dad, like you had mentioned, I'm not going on this visit. I'm not going to stay this close to home. And he said, just go, just give it a shot. You know, just see. What I know you said you felt safe. It didn't feel like you were close to home. There were all those pieces of it. Do you look back on that now and kind of think to yourself, if I had listened to myself and if my dad didn't say something, all these years would have been gone. They would have been different. I would have been somewhere else. Do you kind of look back and give your dad some credit here for Binghamton University and everything you've had there?
Yeah, I'll tell him to skip this part when he's listening, but I do give him a lot of credit. I would never say it to his face. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm really appreciative that he like did say that and that he kind of did lean me in the right direction because I think parents do end up knowing what is best at some point. But it was, I mean, looking back, I'm so grateful that he said that. Because I mean, the worst thing that's happened is I did go and I hated it and I said no. But like,
Yeah.
that's what he said. So I'm glad I did go and I did love it. So
Yeah, and the thing is for your parents and I thought that I was going to actually say what you said. I was going to be like, Jeff, don't listen to this part because she's going to say something negative. No, but for your parents, Jeff and Jen, what do you want to say to them overall about just who they've been in your life and just the importance that they've had? Because I think it's important to look back, and I know you just made mention here kind of reluctantly, as many kids do to their parents, of saying like, yeah, mom and dad, they typically know best and we don't listen, but I've had plenty of those with my mom and my dad. What do you want to say to Jeff and Jen Lamoureux? What should we know about these wonderful people?
oh, I mean, they like most softball parents. They sacrifice so much, like time, money, a lot of their time traveling. My mom caught all of my pitching lessons from age like 8 till I came to college, until she physically couldn't catch the ball anymore. But I mean, that's just something that I'm forever grateful for because it's kind of hard to find a catcher sometimes around in high school that want to catch you, that want to sacrifice their own time. But my mom was always there and always sacrificed her own time, even though sometimes I probably wasn't the most appreciative. Like she would take time out of her day to go in the backyard to take me to the lessons, to take me down to the field, wherever. Same with my dad. I just remember one day it was the middle of the workday and I wanted to field ground balls and he's out there. It was like 90 degrees and it was humid and we were on turf and he was just hitting me ground balls for like 30 minutes until he was like, I'm dripping in sweat. But I mean, time, trips across, I mean, going all these places with them is super cool. And I'm forever grateful for that. Like Colorado, California, even some places in the Northeast, Florida, like there's so many places that I got to travel with them that like I'll remember forever. So just they're the best and they sacrifice so much for all of us. There's 4 of us and we all did travel sports and all of us did multiple travel sports as kids. So they definitely had their hands full, but they handled it so well and with a lot of grace. So they're the best and I thank everything.
Allie Lamoureux here with us in this Bearcat break room. Before we jump into rapid fire, I want to take a moment here as a time capsule for you, Allie. And if you have a moment or two in your time at Binghamton, could be on the field, could be off the field, could be anything. But within your time at Binghamton University, if there's something or a few things that really stick out in this time capsule as you take these memories and you put them into the ground to look at another time when you dig them up, what are those memories that you're putting in there?
I think just a lot of like little moments, like free lift rolling out on the rollers, talking with each other, or before practice in the locker room, blasting music before a game, on the bus when we're all sleeping and we're all tired and we just want to go to sleep and someone's screaming, and just a bunch of little moments, nights at the hotel, getting ice cream together. I mean, there's so many things that this program has brought and so many memories that these people have given me. So it's hard to pick like one moment, but there's a lot of little things that I'll definitely always remember.
And what do you want to say to the state of New York, the student athletes here, not just in softball, but in general? I mean, I have spent many years as a proponent. I mean, I'm born in central New York. I'm an upstate New Yorker through and through, and there's so much talent. And it doesn't always get the credit it deserves. It doesn't always get the exposure or the spotlight. And I've made it a mission of mine within everything that we do here at Wake Up Call to make sure that student athletes get the spotlight in the state of New York and really get an opportunity to showcase themselves and talk about who they are and why they are. What do you want to say to the student athletes of Central and Upstate New York, having been a student athlete from here that played Division I and had a lot of success?
I mean, the biggest thing is probably believing in yourself, because there's a lot of times other people aren't going to believe in you, whether that's other coaches, other players, other teams, whatever. But you all know what like you're capable of, and I think just believing in that and knowing what you can do and advocating for that is probably the biggest piece of advice I could ever give to people that are still playing.
Believing in yourself and advocating for you. Let's play some rapid fire, Allie. It's going to put us both on the hot seat. You have the opportunity to ask me questions. I can ask you questions. It can be about anything in the world. We have to answer it. No pressure. We're just live to the world on video and audio, literally anywhere. There could be people in Austria right now watching this conversation. So you get the first question. What do you have for me?
All right. What is your death row meal? Like one meal left. What are you eating?
I love that you went so dark so early. What is your death row? This is the last meal of my life. What am I eating? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to create as a very proud Hispanic and Italian. I'm going to have a multiple course meal because I'm going to be preparing my exit plan, and so I'm going to have a lot on the table so I can not only enjoy the food, but it gives me time to try to escape death row. But I would probably say I would have a dish from my mom, probably the turkey roll that she makes, which is like a mini Thanksgiving. I would have my G-Mama, my mom's mom. I'd have her stuffed shells. I'd have my Gammy's chicken soup and veal. And I'd have my dad's blueberry pancakes. And I just try to get out of there. That
sounds good.
All right, Elliot. I'm gonna stick with food. It's a two-parter. Right. What's one food that you could eat every day and never get sick of? Second part, what's one food or snack, could be literally anything, that you wish the world never created?
Oh, that's a good one. All right. One food that I know I could eat every day because I do eat almost every day was we had these bagels on campus in the athletic center.
Okay.
There was something about those specific bagels, I could eat them every day. And we did just about every day eat them.
Okay.
So I would say those bagels, kind of a basic answer, but you can put different kinds of cream cheese, butter, jelly, just spice it up just a little bit.
What was it about the bagel? Was it like a certain kind of bagel? I mean, what made it special?
I would switch it up. There's a bunch of different types of bagels. Okay. They had like blueberry, sesame, egg, a bunch of different stuff. But I think it's just how they were toasted. I don't know. I really don't know what it was. But everyone else can advocate that they are some of the best bagels ever.
All right. Fair enough.
And then one meal, something I wish I was never created. I have to say tomatoes just because I don't like them and I wish I did. Because I feel like they go so good with everything. But like then they make sauce and stuff like that. But like just pure tomatoes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very similar. I love tomato sauce, but I don't want a tomato in my salad. It's just the texture of it's weird. It's like squishy. It's just a strange. But
it's sweet and sour.
What'd you say?
I don't know. It's like sweet and sour too. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, if you put it in sauce, it's fine. But when it's by itself, it's not the same. What is your second question for me?
If you could go back to school and choose one major, what would it be?
Well, I was a digital media and broadcasting major. I'm obviously using that. I also wanted a grand scope of communication arts, which Jay Hamrin, God rest his soul in heaven, he was a big reason why I went to Marywood University, which is an hour south of Binghamton in Scranton, PA, and I learned a lot. I mean, I got to do a lot of different things. I got to work as an actor. I got to work as a technical person in theater. I worked on screenwriting. I did so many different things. So I don't think I would change my major at all because as much as my bachelor's says digital media and broadcasting, I had an overall communication arts degree where I made myself have to learn a lot of different things. I didn't want to choose one. I wanted to be able to walk out of school and say, okay, do I want to be a stand-up comedian? Do I want to be a broadcaster? Do I want to be a station manager? Do I want to be a screenwriter or an actor or a director? Do I want to work in production and editing? So I don't think I would change my major at all. I know I wouldn't because I love the life that I have and I love where I'm heading. So that would be my answer. My question to you, Allie. If we were doing a roast of you and your teammates came up and told some jokes about Allie, and then remember, as the roastee, you get to have the final word. Which 3 teammates would you want to roast you, who then you could go and roast at the end?
Oh, all right. I'm definitely gonna start with Shelby. Shelby is very quick on her feet,
Okay.
but also I could come up with a few hits for her. I'm also gonna go Sarah Rendy. Also, definitely could hit me a few times, but I definitely could get her back.
Okay.
And one more. I think I'm gonna go with Haley because we just have a lot of fun together. So I think it would be very harmless between us, but it'd be funny and we'd still get some digs in.
All right, fair enough. From the Heritage Hill Studios, this Bearcat break room, hanging out with Allie Lamoureux. Allie, you get what's your last question, and then I'll give you one as we finish up this Bearcat break room focus on the history and the career of Allie Lamoureux, as well as the Binghamton University successful season on the softball field. What's your final question?
All right. Since you're very into sports, very well versed, if you were a professional sports player, what league or what sport would you play in?
Well, I'd probably go with the one that I played my whole life and that I shut my brain off and can go play for hours, and that's basketball. I do like football. I don't want a 300-pound man to lay on top of me. That's the one thing that I kind of deterred me from playing tackle football. I played like two-hand touch and flag football and stuff growing up because I like the talent of it and I like the scheming of it and I like the difficulty, but at the same time, I definitely would not want to be under a pile of just 1,000 pounds. And so I would say probably basketball, but I always wanted to pitch. I played Little League Baseball, and I always wanted to have the opportunity to pitch. And I thought I had some good moments as a kid, but I will say this. I took a coaching class at Marywood, and it was extra credit. I only had to take like a half a credit, and I took a 3-credit course. And in the coaching class, our teacher taught us the art of coaching, but picked 2 sports to not only teach us what it means to be a coach, but to specifically work in those sports. And the first one we did was softball. And I can honestly tell you that the ball is not soft. That's one thing people need to understand. Secondly, if you think it's easy, it is not. And when you think you hit that ball hard, it goes like 2 feet. So I would say that I learned a lot about softball, and I respect a lot about it. I think if I was doing like a pickup game, I could see myself going out there and having a little, fun charity softball game. And if I was going to have a career in a professional league, I'm more of a fan of college basketball than I am of the NBA. I just want some things to change in the NBA, but I would be a sharpshooter in the NBA. So celebrity softball game, tell Jess Bump, let's do it. And then NBA basketball. So my last question for you, Allie. If you were having dinner with 3 people, they could be alive or they could have passed away, but if you're having dinner with 3 people, what 3 people do you choose to sit at a table with and why? Could be anybody in the world.
The first one's got to be Kevin Hart, one of my favorite comedians and funny actor. So he's got to be up on the list. I saw him in, not concert, but I saw one of his shows for my Sweet 16.
Okay.
And very funny. Watched a lot of his Netflix specials too. Just watched him host the Tom Brady roast.
Yeah, that was crazy, that roast.
That was very funny. That was worth a 3-hour watch.
Okay. So Kevin Hart.
I'm gonna go Snoop Dogg on this. Just because a lot of people say that he's very funny, I've seen clips of him, very funny. So I think he would be a fun person, especially if I'm with Kevin Hart. I think they would be very fun together, and I think that would be a great dinner. And then last one, oh my gosh. All right. I'm gonna pick a newer athlete just to kind of get in his mindset. I'm gonna go Ant-Man.
Okay.
I think he's a very, very good player.
Okay.
Very well versed, and I think it'd be fun to sit down and have a conversation with him, get in his mindset.
Okay. All right. So Ant-Man, you'd have Ant-Man there, Snoop. I like this. This is definitely so Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, as well as Snoop and Kevin Hart, which is kind of funny because you would have somebody called Ant-Man, and then you have Kevin Hart who's very tiny, and so. But and then Snoop, who's tall, and when I think of Snoop, I think of him being in Pitch Perfect when he's Pitch Perfect 2, when he's in the recording studio and he says "groovy like a drive-in movie." I don't know why I always remember that about Snoop, but Snoop Dogg, Ant-Man, Kevin Hart, that would be a lot of fun. I went to see Kevin for my birthday a few years ago, and him and I have similar thoughts on certain things, definitely on scary movies, so I can appreciate his comedy. Allie Lamoureux of Binghamton University Bearcats softball here on a very successful season, a wonderful career, and a lot of great things that happen at Maine End. Well, beyond wins and losses, Allie, thank you for joining us here today and showing us more of your personality and telling us your story, and giving a shout out to Jen and Jeff. I know they'll appreciate that, and to your siblings as well. Thank you for what you've done for Binghamton, and congratulations with everything. I know you were in biological sciences, so my best to you and your degree moving forward and the next step that you take.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll talk with you soon. Take care, okay?
You too.
See you.
Bye.
This Bearcat Break Room coming to you once again in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, and inside of these Heritage Hill studios, having the opportunity every single week in Bearcat time to speak with Binghamton University in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. Student athletes, coaches, and administration join us in the Bearcat Break Room, and then in Moments with Marshall, we are joined by Binghamton University Athletics Director Gene Marshall, and that will be coming up very soon here, which I'm excited to share some more time with Gene. So big time thanks to Allie Lamoureux for joining us here from Binghamton University Softball. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we'll come back with the ingredients to success right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the tastes of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time right here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. And it is so great to have Heritage Hill in our community. Heritage Hill Brew House out in Pompey in the rolling hills of central and upstate New York. You'll find them on Sweet Road in such a sweet location, pun fully intended. And Heritage Hill North right there at Sweetheart Corners opened this month here, grand opening on May 1st and a soft opening before that. You can go to Heritage Hill North and their incredible digs. Love it in there as well in North Syracuse on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York, our proud exclusive studio partner. It's time for us to jump into the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicoli's. You'll find Avicoli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, right down the road from Liverpool High School, and it's where we do our Liverpool Warriors monthly broadcast. Last week we gave you a twofer. We had a back-to-back double dose of our Liverpool Warriors Spotlight broadcast on site, on location at Avicoli's, and we're there every single month, like I said, right down the road from Liverpool High School. So go support your Warriors and then go down the street and support the local community over at Avicoli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. At Avicoli's, you can go there Tuesday through Sunday. They are closed on Mondays, so Tuesday through Sunday, you will find them for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, if you're going to drink responsibly at the alcoholic beverage. And, of course, make sure that you get yourself and others home safely. So drink responsibly, and if you need someone to drive you home, have somebody drive you home. So much appreciation to Avicoli's and everything they do for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Now with the weather clearing up, they have outdoor seating with their indoor casual side as well as their fine dining side and their bar. So there's 4 ways to experience Avicoli's on site. You can also experience Avicoli's for takeout, delivery, and catering by calling 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. And you can also go to myavicolis.com to their newly redesigned website. That's myavicolis.com, AVICOLLIS.com. Today's topic for the ingredients to success is to start somewhere. Start somewhere. Now, some of you might be looking at this going, okay, Dan, I know what you mean. You know, if you want to start something, you have to begin somewhere, right? You have to start somewhere. But people will be asking, well, where do I start? What do I say? What do I do? How do I start? Well, you start by just taking a step. You start somewhere, right? Well, I don't know how to write this novel. Well, you start with a title. You start with a character. You start with something that, you know, if you want to write this novel, what's the novel about? You obviously have an idea, or you wouldn't just say, yeah, I'm going to write a novel. You have somebody on your mind, you have something on your mind, you have some character or some topic on your mind. So you start somewhere, you build around it. So the ingredients to success of starting somewhere, what I'm really asking you to do is chase your dreams. What I'm really asking you to do is to go out there and give your all to something that's important to you. I'm asking you to go out there and try. Because in life, many of us say we're going to do something. I mean, we all say we're going to do something, right? But how many people actually go out and do something? We say we're going to. We say, hey, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to do this. This is going to be my thing. This is what I'm going to be good at. I'm going to be an awesome actor, right? But then they never go audition. They say I'm going to be a great writer, but then they never take a pen to the paper. Or maybe they finish it, but they never send it to anybody. They finished an entire script, but they don't send it anywhere. You know, when we're creating, that whole starting somewhere, that whole saying, I'm going to chase my dreams, you have to believe in yourself. That's another ingredients to success of starting somewhere. You have to believe in yourself. Because in order to start, in order to take that step, in order to put that pen to the paper, in order to go to that audition, in order to ask that person out, in order to start that business, fill out that application, go serve the community in some way, shape, or form, you have to believe in yourself. You have to. Because believing in yourself is what brought you to this point. I believe I'm a writer. I believe I'm an actor. I believe I'm a basketball player. I believe I'm a doctor. I believe I'm a nurse. I believe I can be a pilot. I believe I'm a pilot. That belief helps you to start somewhere. And then when you take that first step might be the hardest step. But once you take that step, you take another step. And when you take that step, you take another step. And after that step, you take another step. Then you take 10 steps, then you take 100 steps. And how do I know this? Because I physically, literally have done this. I've literally done this. A few years ago, I was going through a tough time in my life. And I needed to do something. And I refused to do something negative. I needed to do something positive. And I needed to just get out. I needed to just breathe. I couldn't breathe. I was trapped in my head of my thoughts. I felt like I was trapped in my house. So I went out and I started walking. I've talked about this before on the show. And I took a step. Now, when I originally went out walking, I go, I can't walk. I don't have the, and I didn't say I can't walk, but I was like, I don't have the stamina to walk far distances. I don't have the endurance. I'm not going to be able to breathe well. I'm going to be like, when I'm walking, right? That's what I thought. I told myself that. So I thought, I'm going to go outside. I'm so out of shape. I haven't walked. I haven't ran. I'm not going to be ready for anything like this. And then I got through it. And then I did it the next day. And then I did it for the next 8 days, made 10 days. Then I did it for 20. Then I did it for 40. Then I did it for 80. Then I did it for 100. Then I did it for 200. Then I did it for over 200. Now I'm looking back on a year going, wow. See, I literally have lived the life of the first step is the hardest. And then because you keep telling yourself, yeah, I want to work out. Yeah, I want to get in shape. Yeah, I want to clear my mind. Yeah, I want to be more focused. I want to be in control of my thoughts. I want to do this. I want to do that. But then we put it off. We put it off. We put it off. We want a simple fix. We want it to be easy. We want it to just change on its own. And it doesn't. So what do? You got to work at it. You got to work at it. And when I took that first step, when I had in my head, like, oh, this is going to be so hard, I'm not getting what I want, I'm bothered by something, there's something that happened in my life, it hurts, I have no control over it, I can't change it, I can only change how I'm responding to it. I'm going to take a step. I'm so scared to take a step. Can I take, not even I'm scared to take a step, but, you know, if I take this step, it's not going to change anything. Well, this isn't going to change anything. Well, I had so many things going on in my head. I can't do this. I don't have the stamina. I don't have the endurance. I haven't walked in a while. I'm not going to be able to walk far. What is this going to do? How is it going to solve anything? How is this going to make my life better? I can't change what happened. I kept walking. And I kept walking. And eventually I found peace. Eventually, I was okay. I became okay. And when I wasn't okay, again, I was in a better state. I had come so far. I look back, I think about it now, all the days that I walked these long distances of neighborhood area, and I look back on it and I think about it now, I'm like, oh, I could never walk that again. And I stop that thought and I go, what do you mean I can never walk that again? I walked that like 500 times. What do you mean I can't do it again? Of course I can do it again. So, mind over matter, positive thinking, having the courage to take a physical step or a figurative step, usually both. This is all a part of starting somewhere. If you have a dream of aspiring to be something, you're not going to be it sitting down on the couch, just waiting. That's not how you're going to be it. You're going to be it by doing. So my ingredients to success for you, you got to believe in yourself. You have to positive talk yourself. You have to be able to combat your negative thoughts through breathing, through prayer, through yoga, through music, through walking, through something positive and productive that was not going to tear you down. Not alcohol, not drugs, not any type of quick fix. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. And when you start, so in order to do that thing, to get there, you got to believe in yourself. You got to positive talk yourself. I believe that there's nothing I can't do. I honestly believe there's nothing I can't do. Nothing that I can't do that I set my mind to. Things that I genuinely want to accomplish, dreams that I have had, that I believe I can do them. The moment I stop believing that, the moment that I start, just like when you tell yourself, I can't walk far because my breath, I'm not in shape. If I walk far, I'm going to be breathing heavy. I'm going to get tightness in my chest. I'm not going to get air up through my neck. When you tell yourself that, you're not. When you tell yourself you can't do something, you won't. But when you believe you can, you will. When you believe you can, you will. Take that step. Get up today. Jump. Do it. Move. If you're in a wheelchair, if you're on crutches, if you're in a bed, if you're standing up on your two legs, if you've been through hell, if you've been through heaven, if you've been through a little bit of both, I'm asking you today to take a step forward toward your dreams, a step forward toward your health. I promise you that it's always worse up here in your brain than it actually is. As bad as it may be, cancer, whatever, as bad as it may be, mind over matter. You have to lead your brain. Your brain cannot leadeth you. Your heart needs to lead you, and you need to lead your brain. That is how you move forward. And I look forward to seeing y'all do it today. And I am going to do the same thing because I can't ask you to do something that I don't. So God bless to all my people taking a step forward today. And all my dogs taking a step forward today. And all my cats, all of my souls out there making a step forward today. God bless y'all on your journey. I'm praying for you. I'm with you. And I hope you do well. I know you will. Because I'm about to achieve my dreams, and I want you to do the same. The worst thing you can do is stop believing in yourself. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. It's amazing. Literally and figuratively. Amazing when you believe in yourself. nothing can stop you. Go do God's work, people. We'll take a step aside for a fast break from the Heritage Hill Studios and be back to wrap up the show right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Heritage Hill, the exclusive studio partner of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we appreciate them so very much being with them in the studios right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Those Heritage Hill studios, we come to you from every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, worldwide, and of course worldwide on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archives. You can go hang out with us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube, is among others. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. That's all you got to do. Search the show, find us, follow us, subscribe to us. It's free. And hang out with us wherever you are, including when you're up in the air. Thanks to everybody who listens to us on their flights. Appreciate that as well. You can visit our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, Heritage Hill Brew House out in Pompey on Sweet Road, Heritage Hill North in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners, and of course Carvel DeWitt, our longest standing partner in the community here in DeWitt, New York, down the road from Lemoyne College and the home of the DT Dolphin Sundae, which is my connection to Lemoyne at Carvel. It is mint chocolate chip topped off with hot fudge whipped cream and a cherry, green and gold sprinkles, and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. Go and get the DT Dolphin today and every day of the week, and you can get the Dolphin buy one, get one on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday at Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. DT Dolphins are buy one, get one. So go out there and get yours today. The Wildcat Sports Pub, where we will be tomorrow night, May 15th. Wednesday, May 15th, 7:30 p.m. with West Genesee softball on the stage, spotlighting an incredible team and coming off an incredible conversation with Binghamton University softball player Allie Lamoureux. Now we have the opportunity to speak with West Genesee softball in the high school world for the Wildcats. GG Cards and Breaks, Avocolis, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicerone, Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, the snack capital of the world, Pizza Man, Great Lakes Honda City, and Mother's Cupboard, where you can find my exclusive breakfast sandwich. You won't find it anywhere else. 3709 James Street in Syracuse, 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. You can get the Cuse McMother. The Cuse McMother, bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. Cut it up and have it with some syrup. And you can check out our Cuse McMother challenge and see who won between Gwen, Pete, and myself on our YouTube channel and on our social media, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find your Dolphins here with us on Wednesdays during Dolphin Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time each Wednesday with AD and DT featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, on the first and third Wednesday typically of every single month. Behind-the-scenes exclusive content with Athletics Director Bob Beretta. And the second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student-athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You will find all of this content with the many Dolphins by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the Lemoyne Dolphins playlist. Our exclusive partnership will also be there for you on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. You'll find the Dolphin, and you'll also find Lemoyne underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, and you already know what it is, folks. Fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll find the BSC Syracuse playlist. Every single month, we bring you Bobcat Spotlight coverage, which we call the Bobcat Buzz, with student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year of their men's and women's basketball teams, men's and women's soccer teams, as well as baseball and esports. And of course, the director for the Syracuse campuses, James Street in Syracuse, and right off of Route 57 in Liverpool, literally across the street from Avicoli's, Miss Mary Hawkins joining the show. So you'll find the Bobcat Buzz with us every single month, spotlighting Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse and what makes them a truly unique gem in our beautiful central and upstate New York community and beyond. And you can find all that content on YouTube. You can also find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. Binghamton University, our exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Bearcats joining us every single month, like today, when you find them on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and what we like to call Bearcat Time. Allie Lamoureux of Binghamton University softball getting the spotlight today, and you can find all of our content with the Binghamton University Bearcats in our Moments with Marshall specials with Athletics Director Gene Marshall, and of course our Bearcat Break Room with student athletes, coaches, and administration of Binghamton University by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll find the Binghamton University playlist. You'll find new content like today with Binghamton University by joining Wake Up Call Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for Bearcat Time. You'll also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab on wakeupcalldt.com. For more information, go to bubearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank my awesome guests for being a part of today's show. Inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com is what's popping. Get to Ma and Pa's today. I just brought over some awesome people. They got a tin, half-price refills for the rest of your life. Not for the rest of the year. Not for the rest of the month. The rest of your life. If you live to be 110 years old and you're 20 right now, you got 90 years of half-price popcorn and kettle corn coming to you and your taste buds. How about that? Go to Ma and Pa's today. 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Let them know that DT sent you their way. Big time shout out to our guest, Dave Pasiak, longtime basketball coach and currently with the Linden Hornets of many years out in the great state of Vermont. Big time shout out to his 7 student athletes graduating this weekend. And a shout out to Dave's leadership and his prowess in the world of sports and basketball, knowing the NBA so very well, speaking on the draft as well as the NBA playoffs with Dave. We'll have him back very soon. God bless to Mr. Pasiak and to his family. And a God bless to Allie's family and to her, Allie Lamoureux, for joining us in the Bearcat Break Room today for the first time ever. Binghamton University softball student athlete Allie Lamoureux, and of Maine Endwell before that, getting to share her story today, which is a truly awesome moment. Big time shout out and thanks to Allie. And of course, a big time thanks to Avicoli's for the ingredients to success, reminding you that the way to your dreams becoming a reality is starting somewhere and taking that first step. Take it today. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. As always, folks, from the Heritage Hill Studios, I say to you, God bless, no stress, do your best. Have a wonderful day.